You know, the PlayStation 5 DualSense controller is definitely a step in the best direction possible when it comes to gaming joysticks. With this next generation of consoles, or technically this generation of consoles, Sony has definitely made a statement with the PlayStation 5. It's big, it's bold, it screams in your face. So this video is going to be about the DualSense controller, and I'm going to try to do my best to explain the new haptic system as well as the adaptive triggers, because they are very insane, but at the same time they are incredibly hard to explain. But before we continue, I have to say, as much as I love this controller when it comes to technology, when it comes to innovation, when it comes to trying something new, because this is new, everything about this controller is new. Unlike Xbox, which, you know, they just added a share button and that's it. You've been using the same controller for like 7 years, so that's good. But this controller is not really comfortable. I don't know what it is, dude. I don't know. Maybe I have to get used to it, but this controller, honest to God, is just not comfortable for me. I love it. I want to love it because when you use this controller in games like Call of Duty and the new Spider-Man game, and along with future games, the whole rumble system, the whole haptic system, the adaptive triggers, they are mind-blowing. But it's just not comfortable. I don't know why. This controller is so much comfortable. Like, oh my God. Like, if I can have this controller with the technology of this, bro, I would never leave this room. I would just be playing games all day. The Xbox controller, just the basic controller is so much more comfortable than this. I don't know why. I want to love this. I can't. Since I know many people want to see this first, here's a look at how the adaptive triggers play on games like Call of Duty. So let's go ahead and test out, for example, what the XM4, how it reacts to the adaptive triggers. So I'm going to pull down on the trigger, and you guys can see there is some slack, like an actual handgun in real life. There is slack, or in other words, it's called a reset. So if I press down any harder, and then it just it's so weird. Let me actually bring the mic closer to the actual haptic mechanism so you can actually hear it in action. So let's go ahead and try it with a different gun. So here I'm using the Pellington, and this has also a different resistance. And next up is the MP5. Also, while I'm here, I'm going to let you guys hear the haptics whenever you start reloading a gun. Not sure how that played out, but it's awesome. So what's new with the DualSense controller, other than literally everything? Well, it's bigger, it's longer, it's thicker. But the real magic is on the inside. That's what she said. Sony has added haptic feedback to the controller, and it is so much different than Rumble. People keep comparing it to Rumble. I don't know why. It is nothing like Rumble. It feels like every inch of this controller has its own little vibrating motor on it. So it's not just like this side vibrates and then this side vibrates. It feels like it's just weird. It feels like there's little people inside there like tapping the controller anytime something happens on the screen. It is the weirdest feeling, but in the best way possible. So for example, if there's something happening on the left side of the screen, the left side of the controller is going to vibrate. If there's something happening on the right side is going to vibrate. And if something switches from left to right on the screen, the way this thing handles like gradients when it comes to vibration is insane. It feels like this side's vibrating and then the middle is vibrating and then the right is vibrating if something happens from left to right when it comes to, you know, playing games on the screen. It is amazing. But the magic with haptic motors isn't just how well it vibrates, but how quick it starts and how quick it stops vibrating. A normal rumble motor like on this and like on the PlayStation 4, the actual motor has to spin up and then slowly spin down. It can't stop and start on a dime like this can. Think of it similar to the vibration on any newer iPhone. If you're scrolling through like a timer, you'll feel a vibration, but it'll feel like it's not a vibration. It feels like an actual click that's happening on the screen itself. That is pretty much what this feels like. It is incredible. But the coolest part, in my opinion, about this controller isn't necessarily just the haptics, but more so the adaptive triggers. It is insane how lifelike it is when shooting a gun in Call of Duty. I'm not literally saying it's exactly lifelike. I understand shooting a gun requires more pressure depending on the gun, but this controller mimics the actual reset with an actual trigger on a real gun. So depending on the gun you have, or maybe if you've shot one in real life, you don't just press it and then it just automatically shoots. There is an actual slack, I guess you would call it. Once you get past the slack, you'll feel a retention, and then once you push through that retention, that's when the gun actually shoots. The same thing happens when in this controller. It is nuts. The best thing is each different gun in the game like Call of Duty has a different reset. So a rocket launcher will require a harder press than something like a handgun, or maybe a sniper would have a harder press than something like an MP5. And each feedback is different as well. So the MP5 gives a different kind of push resistance feedback every time a bullet is shot. Now the downside is battery life. Wow. So this controller, yeah, it has batteries. If I can get it open, there we go, batteries. I know people laugh at batteries, I do too, but the good thing is that this thing lasts easily like 30 hours with vibration turned on. 30 hours. This, like 4 to 7 hours, depending on what game you're playing and if you have vibration turned on or off, or how intense the vibration is in that game that you are playing. It's not good. That's to be expected. The PlayStation 4 controller wasn't anything good. If you add on all this new tech, well, it's not gonna get any better. So if you guys have the PlayStation 5, definitely let me know what you guys think about this new controller. If you are planning on getting a PS5, believe me when I tell you this, you need to get a game that supports this new haptic feel slash triggers. It is insane. Miles Morales, Spider-Man does the same thing. Very awesome. It feels like you're literally shooting a web. There's resistance with each kind of pull. It's nuts. It's something that you really guys, you need to try it out. So this was Mark from Mark's Tech. Have a good one.